Hello. 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 Hello.
What's up?
All right, baby. Go ahead. Say what we're talking about right now.
Well, let's start with this.
¿Y por qué?
So, we just left lunch with some friends, Kristen and Lena. You guys remember them, pretty sure.
Shout out to the homies.
So, I'll get to them later, but I'm gonna raise my window.
No, we don't gotta say what they think. They're not here to speak for them, so we won't speak.
I didn't plan on it. Thank you.
Okay.
So, well, what was the original question? Catcalls. You were talking about catcalls.
Yes, catcalls. On a regular basis, when I'm out walking in the street, especially now I do a lot of walking, because I work downtown, guys are always saying stuff. I don't know, like I feel like there's a big difference between like a compliment and like a catcall. A catcall is like you walk past and the guy's like, or like, dang girl, or ooh, what's your name? Or like to me that's so disrespectful versus like, you look really nice today. Like to me that's not disrespectful, that's just a nice thing to say to someone. So I was saying that I think that is ridiculous how often guys are objectifying women. That's basically what I was saying. Is that what you're talking about?
I mean, we were talking about that, yes.
So you brought up your point, which is what? What's your point? We can go there now.
What was my... I gotta know exactly what I said, because I said a few different things. I had a few different examples too, but women get catcalled based off of how they dress, and they dress that way because I think I said because they feel like they should or feel like they need to. Obviously this is generalization, because clearly every woman doesn't dress like this.
What the conversation is that you're saying that when women dress a specific way, they should expect specific attention, right? That's what you're saying.
And actually, I
disagree.
I brought this up earlier. Dave Chappelle actually made one of his skits was about this, about how he ran into a guy dressed as a police officer, ran to the guy for help when something happened, and the guy was like, and it was a joke, just because I'm dressed this way does not make me a police officer. But the whole point of that skit was just that when women dress in ways that promote their body, most of the time they are looking for attention, but either way, you're gonna get what comes with the territory, which is
but where does that come from though? The reason why scantily clad even exists is because society created that,
right?
So like why do we
but you can go against the grain.
You can go against the grain and be a good man, a good human who doesn't comment on a woman when she's dressed.
But at the same time, commenting on a woman when she's dressed a certain way doesn't make you a bad human.
Yes, it does. Not a bad human.
Why?
It makes you... It's not right. It's not right for you to comment on a woman's body just because she has things showing.
Why is it not right if she has them showing? If she's making them public, why is it not right to comment on it? Just like YouTube, we're making these public so people can comment on them. If we're making them private, if she didn't have nothing showing, no comments.
No, that's not true, because you can be a fully covered woman and you still get comments. You can be fully clothed and people will still say things to you.
Maybe you're right. I haven't heard anything to support that.
I told you today I am fully dressed.
But fully dressed, but what?
But nothing. I'm fully dressed.
Fully dressed, but what?
I have dress pants on.
Dress pants on. What color are they?
They're white.
Are they loose or tight?
They're pants. They're fit to my body.
Okay, so they're fit to your body. They're white pants. Can you not clearly see them cheeks in the pants?
Oh my gosh. Unless they're baggy, super baggy, or jogging pants, then you're saying you can see them then? Or any skirt that isn't super baggy. I don't understand.
I mean, when it's form-fitting, yes. And that's the point. Fitting your form.
Clothes in general are that way, unless you're wearing men's clothing. Women's clothing are form-fitting.
Women do have baggy clothes. I've seen them.
Okay, you think women should always wear baggy clothes?
I feel like, no, you wear what you want, but if you wear something tight or form-fitting, you get what comes with it.
What?
That's what I'm saying.
What do you mean by you get what comes with it?
Guys hitting on you. A lot of women do value themselves based on how guys look at them, based on how they attract guys.
Here's my thing. When I dress a certain way, it is because I want to feel good about myself. I mean, like, okay, when you
that's the question I asked.
When you get dressed every day, you said you like to look nice because you want to be presentable. That's
Right.
what you said, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying I like to look nice for me. Like, I feel better as an operating person in my day, in my life, when I look good. If I look like I put myself together, I feel better. This is so true. Like, at work, people will tell you this all the time. Like, if you go to work and you're not put together, people will be like, are you okay? Like, they'll think something's wrong with you. So when I'm dressing a certain way, it's not about other people. If I want to get real cute and like be super, super like fancy and fly and like feel sexy, it's because I want to feel sexy for me, and I want you to look at me and be like, my wife is sexy. It has nothing to do with other people. And other people, other men should not feel like because I have a form-fitting outfit that they should be able to say something to me. Why is it their right to say something to me just because I'm wearing something form? That doesn't even make sense, baby.
So what does it mean to you to look sexy?
For me, I feel sexy when I am well put together. So like my hair is done. I have something nice. I'm wearing something nice. Like I'm put together, and that's sexy, being put together.
Mm-hmm. So boobies out, booty out, cheeks flopping in the breeze.
No, I didn't say that.
Now I'm asking.
Oh, I don't think that your butt should, personally, me, so you're asking about me, right? Because I'm not talking for all women. I don't think for me it's sexy to have my butt hanging out. No, that's not sexy. Mm-hmm. That's like, stop, what are you doing? Because my butt is reserved for my husband. Doesn't need to be for everybody else. Mm-hmm. Cleavage, I feel like people make so much, like, such a big deal out of it, and it's not.
We're gonna come back to what you just said, though.
It's not that big of a deal.
As long as I remember.
If I have a look, I don't purposefully look for ways to have my boobs out. That's not my personality. But if my boobs happen to be out a little bit in a shirt, that should not give someone else the right to comment on them. And is that what you're saying to me? Because that's crazy. You're saying if my boobs are out, that's why
I'm saying if you're dressing to look sexy for you, why are your boobs showing for everybody else? That's the first thing. 2, I was gonna go back to what you just said. It was about, okay, you just said you don't feel like your butt should be out, you feel like it's just for your husband. So then when a guy then, based on what you just said, sees a butt that is out in the open, you just said it shouldn't be for everybody. He's assuming now, since it's out in the open, it's for everybody. So since it's public, I'm going to comment on it. It's just like YouTube. Y'all go ahead and make some comments in here. Let us know what you think.
But that's a wrong assumption, because not every woman feels the way that I feel.
Okay, sure.
Like, my opinion is that my butt is only for you to see.
Well, then this whole conversation is, again, pointless, because I'm not a guy who, like, walked around commenting on other women's, how they look. I've never in my life done a catcall. I could picture it now. It'd be a disaster.
You've never commented to a girl on her appearance?
Not as far as I know. And I mean, I might have said something very vague, like, you look nice. But no, I never walked up to a girl and been like, hey, let me get a slice of them cheeks. Never said nothing like that.
Why?
Never said, oh, them titties. I never said nothing like that.
Baby, why have you not said anything like that?
Yeah.
When you hear that, though, like the comment that you just said, that you said, I've never said that to a woman. When you hear that, don't you hear like that's disrespectful? Like a woman would not want to hear that?
See, here's the thing. I could say that, but I know there are women who won't mind hearing that.
Won't mind hearing that.
Right. They'll start smiling, they'll start blushing. I know there's some out there. They'll start flirting back.
I think the majority of women don't want to hear, like, dang, girl, you got a nice booty. Like, women want to hear, like, you have a beautiful mind, you have a beautiful face. And then, of course, like, your body's a part of that on top of it. But that's not the first thing you want someone to notice about you. Is like, dang, girl, you got a fat booty.
Why do you care so much about getting compliments on your body then? Maybe not you, but why women? Like you say, your mind, your spirit. But now why is body involved in this?
Because women like to look good and feel good.
So a lot of times when a guy does this compliment, considering what I just said, how there are women who go for those type of compliments, a guy will give that compliment to brighten up a girl's day.
I think you can brighten up a girl's day easily without commenting on their body parts.
Okay.
If it's about making someone's day, why can't you be like, you look really nice today? Why does it gotta be like, your boobs are great? What if they're just out because you like how you feel? You feel sexy.
I think this is a good point too, because in society, guy has to make the first move. So him making that comment, that's the first move. So like, it don't have to be that comment. And I'm not familiar with catcalling, so I don't necessarily know how it goes. But any type of comment where the guy starts the whole conversation, that's part of how our society works. Like, you see so many single girls, when they're trying to get a guy, they're gonna dress a certain type of way to be noticed. Okay, so you're dressed like that to get noticed. So now when a guy, he doesn't know if you're single or not, but you're dressed like that, so I'm gonna talk to her like she's single.
I will agree with you that a lot of girls dress a certain way because they are trying to attract men. I will agree with you on that.
So my point is, they put value in their bodies.
Of course you
so
put
then when a guy
value in
comments
your
on it,
bodies. Of course women put value in
you
their
get back
bodies.
what you put out.
But what I'm saying is, like, if you are a woman who is dressed a certain way because you like how it makes you feel, that doesn't mean that a guy should be allowed to comment on what you have. That's what I'm saying. I do agree with you that women dress a certain way sometimes to get a certain attention. Of course they do, obviously. But what I'm saying is, it shouldn't give you a free pass as a male. I'm
a type of person that is okay to agree to disagree. So in this case, we can. Because I feel like, if, you know, from a guy's perspective and from my perspective, if you got boobies out, you want them to be noticed. So... Noticed
by whom?
By whoever. If you're single, you want it to be noticed by whoever looks.
What if you're not single?
I think if you're in a relationship, then you probably want to ask your significant other what they think about your boobies being all out. But I know some of you women might find that to be oppressive, to ask your guy how he wants you to dress. But if you're going to be with him, you probably want to make him happy, right?
I don't think that's oppressive. I feel like I really truly want you to approve of the way that I look. But along with that, I want you to have me on your arm or have me next to you and feel and think to yourself like, wow, my woman looks great. And I feel like that makes me feel good to know that you think I look good. Does that make sense?
Sure, but if I can see you naked, I know what you look like.
Yeah.
So you ain't got to have the whole world see what your body look like. That's how I feel.
You're so old school.
Sure.
And that's something I feel like that I sometimes struggle with, because it's not all about, obviously, like, we're individuals, so it's not all about what you want. You know what I mean? Like, I value what you want, and
But you also worry about what others think.
No. Myself. Like, I value what you want, and I want to do right by you, and I want you to be proud of me, but it's also important for me to feel good and for me to feel...
So how do you feel good if it's not just my opinion? Where does the other feeling of confidence come from?
It comes from within.
It comes from within. So how do you get it?
What do you mean?
So, okay, if it comes from me, I'll give you a compliment. Boom. Boom, from me, right there. Do you give yourself compliments? Or are you looking for compliments from other people, other women or other men?
I think that when a woman gets a compliment, it is nice, right? Like, if someone gives me a nice compliment, it's like, oh, that's nice. But it's not a requirement for me to feel confident to get compliments.
So showing off your body will make you feel better. That's my question. Why? Even if that's not what you mean, that's what this whole conversation, what the basis of it was.
Why does it have to be showing off your body? Why can't it just be... I don't know. I think the way that you're looking at it is so different than how I'm looking at it.
Right, because men and women are different. That's why I'm okay to agree to disagree, because, shoot, fundamentally, men and women come from two different, not like Mars and Venus, but
Tell me more, baby.
Fundamentally, they come from just two different points of view, two different, I was gonna say psychological, just operations in the brain, stuff like that. We're just different, fundamentally, from birth.
Certainly.
So we don't look at things the same way. We could just agree to disagree.
For the purposes of these videos, though, it's good to go back and forth, because you get more perspective.
I will always default to, we can just agree to disagree. You have your opinion, I got mine. So
I just feel very strongly that women should dress a certain way because that's how they want to dress, and it's for themselves. And I don't think men should ever feel like they have a green light or
a free
card
to
tell women, hey, you have a nice rack, you have a big booty. Hey, can I get some of that? I don't think that's ever appropriate or okay.
So I'll say this too. I think for a guy to say that, to use those specific examples about the rack and the booty, I feel like it's flawed, because more than likely that's not going to get you where you're trying to go. So,
Baby, it's never okay.
I'm not necessarily saying it's okay, but I am saying that it comes with the territory.
But it sounds like you're
So,
saying that it's
I'm not
okay
saying- here's
for
the thing.
men to say that to women.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying that crime is okay in inner city neighborhoods, but it comes with territory. I understand it. Poverty and crime go together. Inner city neighborhoods a lot of times are impoverished.
Okay.
So they go together. It's not okay, but that's what happens.
Oh,
Same
well,
thing.
if you're saying that's what happens, no one's disagreeing with that's what happens. I was disagreeing with, like, green pass, like free pass to say it because of this. And it sounds like that's what you were saying. Like,
I
well,
wouldn't give it a green pass.
it's like
but
you
I
were
think it's a
basically saying,
yellow
like, well, if
pass.
it's out there, then, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, like I
Which
said...
is very different than saying it happens. Of course it happens.
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, this is not... Asking me is probably not the best thing, because I'm not the type of guy who's ever done any of that anyway. So... I get it. I do get it. And I'm saying, if it is out there, what I kept saying, I think, is if you're putting it out there, a guy is thinking, I'm going to go ahead and comment on it. I didn't say whether or not it was okay. I just kept saying what's going to happen. In terms of if I think it's okay or not, I mean, there's women who like it. There's guys who it works for them. I can't say it's okay or not. I don't think this is a black or white type of thing.
Yeah.
So, as most of the world, like one of my catchphrases is the world is not black and white, because most of these things don't have one answer. So,
Well, just for fun, as my husband, how would you like me to dress? Like, someone who doesn't know us, who doesn't know how I dress, like, what are things that you think are acceptable and not acceptable as your wife for me to wear and not wear?
I don't feel like you should have a whole bunch of cleavage showing. I want to say no cleavage at all, because why do you feel the need to show cleavage? One,
no cleavage at all. That's me, like 99% of the time.
I don't think it's necessary.
But I feel like sometimes it's not even that I mean to. Sometimes it's just out a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah.
So, as far as like your pants, I feel like if you're wearing the type of pants where you always pull them up because you're not wearing the belt, those pants are probably too tight. Or they could be, if they are too loose, is this the whole reason we backed up? Or if they are too loose, then yeah, wear a belt. But like, the point is just, if you wear form-fitting stuff, whatever, if that is what makes you feel confident, do you. But you shouldn't dress like a hussy. So if the stuff is too tight, don't wear it.
So what you're saying is that you don't want me to have any cleavage and you don't want me to wear tight clothes ever?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. But at the same time, you're saying, as a woman, I need to do this to feel confident.
No, I didn't say I need to do it to feel confident. I said that certain things that I do and things that I wear is because it helps me to feel confident. Not that I need it, but it's helpful.
If you don't need it, why do it?
That's a lot of things in life. We didn't need to eat that cake, we just ate, but we did.
Okay. And then we're gonna get what comes with it. So,
Whoa. I have a question. What about bathing suits?
I mean, bathing suits is like, shoot, you can't do nothing with those.
What do you mean? So you're saying like just wear a bathing suit?
Yeah, so I'm a functional type of person. I don't think it's functional to wear like a full suit, like a full a 3-piece suit to go swimming.
Low key, I feel like it's easier for men in the beach world,
Ain't
right?
no low key. It's 100% easier.
I know, and
we don't care about what our bodies look like.
Because it sucks. Because like for a woman, like it's gonna make you feel
that was my point
less
earlier.
confident if you don't feel like you look good in your bathing suit.
That was my point earlier. When we were talking about this, I said it was a catch-22 because I feel like a lot of times women dress like that because society says women should dress like
that's what I'm
a certain
saying.
type of way.
Exactly.
And when women dress like that, then they get catcalled. So it's like a catch-22. It's like a lose-lose situation either way. So.
But I think men, to your point, I think men comment on women because of the media says that that's what you do. I don't think that it needs to be that way,
Not
baby.
necessarily.
Like, think about it. Before that was a thing that women were objectified and sexualized, it wasn't a thing. So it doesn't have to be that way. It is because of the world that we live in. As a woman, I don't feel like I should have to dress a certain way in order to avoid men looking at me. I should be able to just be.
So as a woman, why don't you want to dress a certain type of way to discourage them from looking at you? That's the whole root that I'm trying to
get your lives
at.
together. Why do I have to dress based on how you react? That's ridiculous. Men don't dress based on how women react. Why should women have to dress based on how men react?
What do you mean? Because guys wear tight shirts to get women's attention, similar to when women wear tight clothes. So there's that.
But I'm saying when a man gets dressed a certain way, he doesn't put on clothes to solicit compliments from women. He just gets dressed to get dressed. So
that's why I'm saying it's a catch-22, because men aren't valued in society because of our bodies. Like, we're more so valued because of being able to support a family, being able to provide things like that, having knowledge, wisdom. That's where a man's value comes from. I think a lot of times, for example, look at like Hollywood or athletes with the trophy wives. Women get valued by how they look. Like what we were saying too, we had this conversation. I see it the same as if somebody were to say this girl is pretty and to say this girl has a nice body. I see it the same way because it's all face value.
Which is crazy to me.
So it's all face value. But my point is that that's like a lot of times the first thing you comment on with a woman is what she looks like. So clothes happen to be a part of that. With a guy, you might comment on his face, but you don't typically comment on his body that much. And then either way, like I said, a guy in society, their value is not in how they look per se, but about what they can provide.
Like what their role is.
Money, that's what I'm talking about. Or power, which also money typically does come with power. Not always, but typically.
That is true. Like the value that your value is associated with the way that you look right away when you're a woman.
That's why I keep saying that I feel like women dress a certain type of way, like showing off their bodies, because even to other women, I think inherently they feel that value that gets attributed to how they look, face and body. So I think it's part of society, and it's a catch-22, because if you don't dress like that, you don't get no looks, or if you do dress like that, you get hit on all the time.
I understand the things that you're saying partially, but I also feel like you should just be able to wear what you want to wear and not have to worry about someone commenting on the way that you look.
We should be able to walk out in downtown Chicago or in the hood and not worry about crime happening to us, but hey, that's how it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, that's the way the world works. So anybody who wants to change that, you got to change how society works, and that'll take a long time. The best bet is probably going to be to spark one of the minds of these kids out here, and they can probably do the work for you, because it's going to take a while. It's going to take a few generations, I think, to change that. But it's slowly happening right now, because men, back in the day, I think men kind of there was more value put in how they look physically in terms of like muscles.
Back in the day?
But now the dad bod is a thing. So it's like guys are now being sought after for being fat. Women love dad bods now. I see it everywhere. About 2 years ago, that was all the rage. Everybody was talking about some dad bod and beard. If you had them two, you was in there. Dad bod meaning like a belly? Yeah, beer belly, essentially. You could be fatter than just having a beer belly, but that's the basics. You gotta start there.
I mean, that's just preference. I don't know. I don't know if we got to a conclusion.
That's the thing. This conversation was never going to come to a conclusion. I think you understand more of my points now. And, I mean, it's not that I didn't understand your points. I just didn't agree with them. So.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you can't agree. I mean, you can't understand them because you're not a woman. And I think women feel it's a constant struggle for us to not feel objectified. It's so common. Like, right away, when you feel like when you're talking to a male and they're looking at your breast and your body, or they're looking at your lips, or they're focusing too hard, looking too deeply into your eyes, like, it's always like, can we just why does it always have to be about the outer appearance, And I feel like women are constantly...
Some people just look deeply in the eyes, I noticed. And I think freaks me out.
Women are constantly trying to battle this objectification thing, and so when you hear a man say something like you're saying, which obviously I know you and I know your heart, and I think right away we go into defense mode because it's like
sensitivity. That's another thing we talk about.
It's like, can I dress how I dress? Like, I just want to dress how I dress, but I do agree with what you're saying by saying things come with that, especially when you use the analogy of living in bad neighborhoods. That makes sense to me. But my conclusion that I liked that you said was, just because it is what it is doesn't make it right. And that's where I think we were divided on, because I thought you were saying like that it was okay then.
I don't care if a guy is commenting on a girl how she looks. I don't care if a girl's commenting on how a guy looks. Mm-hmm. So like,
I'll comment on how you look.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean,
handsome.
That's what we need. I'm just letting you know, if you dress like that, it's gonna happen. So if you don't want it to happen, don't dress this way.
Do you believe that girls who are fully clothed don't get hit on?
Fully clothed how?
Covering all things.
When nothing's showing?
Yeah.
So what is a guy gonna hit on you for? Your face?
Anything.
So what is he gonna say? Dang, look at that face. And you would like that, wouldn't you? All right, case dismissed.
So you believe that a man cannot objectify a woman if she's not showing anything?
There's some creative men out here. I'm sure it can happen. I don't know how it would.
But it's not super common, is what? Yeah.
I've never seen it or heard about it happening. So you guys tell us if you have. I haven't. So enlighten me.
I got one. If you're like fully clothed, you're not showing anything, and your clothes are not tight, and a guy's like, I can't wait to get those clothes off you so I can see what's under there. Objectification.
Sure. I guess I mean, I don't hear anyone ever talking about that happening. So
it's like that argument that people say, like, oh, you need to cover it up so like you leave some curiosity, and then like guys will be like, if I can't see it, I'm just in my head thinking about what it looks like underneath. Like, you're still objectifying a woman. Do you know
if a guy has said that?
Yes.
Have guys told you this? Because I never really thought too much about that.
It's
like what we were saying earlier, like,
so
out of sight, out of mind.
you're saying that if guys have no idea what a woman looks like naked, they don't try to picture it?
I'm talking about me. Other guys, I don't know, because it all depends on the individual, I would say.
Yeah, this whole thing is very individualistic.
Most of life is individualistic, or it should be.
But it's fun to comment because I learned so much by listening to your perspective, because obviously you don't speak for the whole male race, but there are other people that think the way that you think.
I think the biggest thing, what me and Christian, for example, we agreed on, and what you and Elena didn't, to say she has a pretty face and a nice body, they're one and the same. Whereas you guys, you would tolerate the face, but not the body comment.
Yes.
Because you were like, it is what it is. She got a pretty face. Okay,
maybe that's
it is what it is. She got a nice body.
Here's the thing. Women in general, I would say, don't like their men to comment. Women don't like their men to comment on other women about anything, really. So what I was saying to you is, if I see a woman and I'm like, wow, she's really pretty, baby, for you to be like, yeah, I think so too, totally appropriate. For you to not say anything, it's like, it's weird, because then it's like, well, what are you thinking? Like, what?
Guys, it's a trap. If your woman does that, it's a trap.
It's not a trap. If I say someone's really pretty, I didn't put any thought into it besides it came in my head and then it came right out.
Boom, just like when a guy sees a nice body. Thank you, Christian. Yo, you hear that? Yeah.
Yeah, but why would you comment on someone's body if you already have your own whole person with a body? Like, why would you need to comment on someone else's body?
This actually, I can answer that, but this actually goes to another thing. And we're like, so for women, why do, for example, even women look at other women and say, oh, she has a nice body, oh, she's pretty? Guys don't look at another guy and say that. So in this society,
bodies are so beautiful.
And that's exactly what Christian said. Oh my gosh, I wish they were here.
We should do a vlog with them.
It's too late now.
Women's bodies are so beautiful to me. Like, I think like
well, that's what you're saying.
The way that God created us, we are beautiful beings.
Don't you love how he created our hands?
Dang, your hands are really big. Put it back. No, put it up. Oh, the whole thing. Yeah. The way that God created us, women are beautiful. Like, women are... women are very appealing to the eye. Sometimes I just
and they get commented on.
I see a woman
that.
walking past and I'm
my
like,
goodness.
dang, she's so beautiful.
You low key proving my point.
No, saying like, dang, you're so beautiful is so different than saying like, dang, you have
Now,
a nice body.
What me
like,
and Christian also said,
or
and
you have
Elena
nice-
did agree with this one. We can't just say, "Oh, that girl's beautiful." But you said you would rather hear that than she has a nice butt.
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing.
What we were saying is beauty comes from more than just face value.
That's true.
Beauty goes to the bone.
That's true. But we all have preferences.
You gotta
right?
know somebody to say she's beautiful. Not necessarily.
But we all have preferences, right? Like we have preferences of what we think is beautiful, exterior wise. It all comes back to like confidence and security. That's the thing. Like you want your man to talk about you and not somebody else. But if like I am 100% honest right now, if we're in a restaurant and I see a waitress, wow, she's really pretty. It is totally 100% okay for you to be like, yeah, she is, or I don't think so, or like, why is that not okay? I feel like that's fine. And I feel like you think that you shouldn't.
It's a trap. Guys, it's a trap.
It's not a trap.
Because what will happen is, if you're smart, you will never bring it up unless she does. But if you ever one day decide, oh, that girl's pretty, telling it to your girl, what you doing looking at other girls? Don't look at other girls if I don't look at them first.
I'm gonna ride with that. No, because sometimes, I don't know.
So, shout out to Tiff and Stins, slippery slope. Here it is. I don't know how much of this you're gonna edit.
A lot. If we're being honest,
there's a lot of good stuff in here.
We would rather you not talk about other women.
Boom. Guys, it's a trap.
But at the same time,
no te haga. Don't do it.
I really enjoy sometimes talking with you about things like that. Like, I want to hear your perspective. We did this last weekend. We were at a restaurant and there was this portrait of this gorgeous woman. I mean, I was like, this girl, and I couldn't stop looking at her. She was
alright.
She was so pretty, and I knew her picture was very compelling. Granted, I'm sure there's like editing that goes into that, and I don't know if those were her real eyes, but anyway. And her outfit was very like sultry. She was wearing like a leather jacket and like this like stud. I think she was like on a motorcycle or something, maybe.
Yep.
I just kept looking at her and I just kept thinking like, she's so beautiful. Like that was the vibe that I got. So I asked Brandon and his friend that were at the table, I'm like, what do you guys think of that girl? And they were like, yeah, she's really pretty. And then they kind of gave me some specifics as to why they thought she was pretty. And that was an enjoyable conversation for me because it was nice for me to get into your guys' head and like hear what your thoughts were.
Here's another thing. You might want to edit this out too, but I don't think guys feel the need to understand women, and women love to try to understand guys.
You should want to understand us. Why would you not want to understand me? I'm your wife. I'm the person you're spending your life with. You don't want to understand me?
Sure. But like a type of conversation like that one, and then even this one,
where it's like not that deep.
I don't feel the need to, except there was one case where I was curious about the difference between women and men.
I want to know.
You remember, it was women can go on a girls trip and it'd be normal, but guys don't do boys trips. I
think that men do go on trips, and you were saying you think it's more common with women.
I know that.
It is more common with women. I don't know. I feel like men should go on more guys' trips. Oh, I know what it is. This is going to sound like I'm lumping men together, but like I'm just going to be honest right now. When men go on men's trips, typically they're trying to like hook up with girls.
That's a humongous stereotype that is found probably not valid.
Okay.
Especially
but
because women could probably do the same thing.
Guys' trips that I know of, that I've heard of, it's like, oh yeah, we went here, we met up all these girls, like, and so I feel like that's the connotation that when a group of guys is together, they're trying to get with girls in terms of like a trip. If a bunch of guys are going out together, I would say the company that they want around them is women, right? They don't want to be with 4 or 5 guys for 5 days straight. I feel like that's what most men.
No, because guys aren't gonna be together all the time. Like guys be like, yo, I'm about to go here. All right, I'm gonna just chill. All right, cool. And you might not see them again until like the evening. So we wouldn't just be together the whole time.
Women, I feel like, can be together for 72 hours, and well, obviously not all women.
But women will act like they love somebody to their face, and as soon as they leave, can't stand that girl.
Yeah, that's not okay. That's never okay. You don't rock with someone, just don't rock with them. But that doesn't mean that you can't be cordial. I think you can be cordial. Look, you could be like, hi, how are you? That's cordial. Not like, hey girl, oh my gosh, how and like give this big huge hug, like fake. But I do think that you should be respectful and cordial, and I think if you don't rock with someone, you can make it known without being rude. I think like for me, it's like a mission in life to like be nice to everyone, right? But I agree with you that being fake is so ugly.
Yeah. You know what happens when a guy sees somebody he doesn't like when they meet up? Either A, they act like they don't see each other, or stay away from each other. Yeah, same thing. Or B, what's up? Oh yeah, what's up? And that's it. Ain't no conversation, me asking about your family or your life. But this is going back to my original point. Men and women are fundamentally different. We can't understand each other, in my opinion. These conversations just because I think they're fun. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to find common ground just because I know we probably won't get there, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I would say that that's something I need to work on. Like for me, sometimes I really want to find we typically do find common ground. We just don't fully agree with each other.
What I tell her all the time, I understand where you're coming from. I just don't agree with you.
So, it's just not okay to objectify women. That's what I'm going to say.
Moral of the story. Guys, even if they're asking for it, don't do it.
I'm talking about when they're not asking for it. If they're asking for it and they
But
want,
like what we were saying earlier, you're not going to know just by looking, so you got to shoot your shot. Like Kobe, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That was Kobe?
That was definitely the way he played the game.
Oh. I will say that I think if I'm giving any advice here, I'm going to just say y'all should just compliment your spouse. You should say nice things to your significant other. You should tell them that they're pretty and they're beautiful. And when they're wearing something that you think looks nice on them, you should say, you look nice in that dress. It makes me feel better about myself when you say something nice about me than probably any other person.
And
it holds so much weight and value when your spouse says something to you versus like Joe Schmo. Some guy on the street says, dang girl, those pants look nice to you, and be like, boy, bye. But if Brandon's like, you look really nice in those pants, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Guys,
you look nice in those pants is saying like your butt looks nice or your thighs look nice. And
right.
That's not appropriate to say to someone unless that someone is yours. I think in a relationship that you are kind of each other's property. Yes, he is mine and I am his. And it's okay. And people are like, oh, I'm not anyone's property. Like, I belong to him.
See, you guys may think I'm a loose cannon. I just say whatever I think. Not the case. I just think a lot.
You are a loose cannon sometimes.
I think some of the things I think are acceptable to say, those are the things that I say. But I think a lot of things that I do not say.
He also has a lot of controversial opinions.
All my opinions are controversial. And not on purpose. Like, I know some people who just like to argue just because. Nah, I just shoot. Like, when you know the truth.
Sometimes I be like.
Moral of the story: recognize when you're being trapped, man.
That is not the moral of the story. Moral of the story is don't objectify women. Bye.